each of us sitting here has had to be away from the business for extended periods of time to take care of ourselves being ill or family members going through health situations. And we've been able to do that because we have systems in place and everybody is able to pick up and keep things going with these systems in place. So when you're building towards a 4-week vacation, I think a lot of times people think, oh yes, I'm going to go sip margaritas on the beach. And time again, what I've seen actually happen is that people come to value the 4-week vacation simply because it creates flexibility. All of a sudden, we all know if we had to, we could take care of things in our personal lives if that need was there. And that takes huge pressure off of us individually and as a team to make that happen.
You work hard in your business. On the Profit by Design podcast, we ask the big question. What has your business done for you lately? Hi, I'm Dr. Sabrina Starling. I'm the business psychologist, the author of the 4-Week Vacation and the How to Hire the Best series, as well as the founder of Tap the Potential, where we coach entrepreneurs like you to design sustainably profitable businesses that give you more time for what matters most and more money in your bank account than ever. Because after all, we believe work supports life, not the other way around. Weekly on the Profit by Design podcast, we bring you tips, tools, and strategies from our own experiences and from the experiences of our guests who are entrepreneurial thought leaders and real life entrepreneurs, all to support you in making intentionally profitable and sustainable business decisions to live the lifestyle you desire.
Well, welcome. This is the Profit by Design podcast, and I am joined today by two of our key team members, Melissa Swire, our lead strategist and marketing lead, and Darren, our success team lead, Darren Hopman, our success team lead. And we are going to be talking all about jumpstarting your way to the 4-week vacation. And I'm so thrilled to have both of you here with me to have this conversation, because this is a conversation that we have individually with business owners. We have it in our small groups in the Better Business, Better Life program. And I think many business owners, when we start talking about a 4-week vacation, Melissa and Darren, I'm curious if this is your experience too. One of the things that happens is that feeling of, I wish I could do a 4-week vacation, but that feels so far out of my reach. And it's actually not, because at Tap the Potential, one of the things that we really espouse and believe in and see the results from is that small steps forward taken in a consistent direction lead to big change over time. So for those of you listening, if your business has steady sales coming in, you could be doing a 4-week vacation in the next 12 to 18 months. And we're going to talk with you about that today. And the other topics that we're going to get into is that the 4-week vacation has a lot of value, not just for the business owner and the business itself, but for the team members, and carries a lot of significance and importance for team members even to be able to work to take a 4-week vacation. So I want to open this up with Melissa, you sharing some of your aha moments that you've had over the last year in relation to the 4-week vacation.
So personally, last year was the first year that I took even a 1-week vacation in almost 10 years. And, that was really impactful. And it just opened my eyes to what I'm missing and how vacation recharges us. And when we talk to our family business owners about the 4-week vacation, it does seem overwhelming. However, we're starting in those small steps forward. Like you mentioned, we're starting with a week, and then we're going to 2 weeks, and then 3, and then 4 weeks. But when our business owners come back from those vacation times, they are so recharged and experience so much innovation. Just because they've had that opportunity to step away for a moment.
So dig in from your personal experience, because you said you hadn't taken vacation in years and you took a 1-week vacation. What did you notice when you were on vacation? What was different for you?
So the very last day, I'm sitting on the beach in Florida by myself, and I have my cell phone with me, of course, and I heard nothing. There was probably 100 people right around me waiting for the sunrise, but everyone was quiet, even the children, as they, ran across the water. They weren't making noises. It was a time to be quiet and to reflect. And it dawned on me that I'm not taking those quiet times and how important it really is to do so. It's time for me to connect with myself and with my husband. But then when I came back, it was just fountain of ideas flowing. And I did have a hard time not reaching out to our team and sharing all those great ideas that came up during vacation. But fortunately, I refrained from that and just honored that time and commitment that I made. And this year, I'm taking a 2-week vacation in preparation for my 4-week vacation. And, the opportunity to plan for that and talk about that, even with my spouse, is so important. And you mentioned the value. So you, Dr. Sabrina, and Darren, you know this, and many of our listeners hear this, I'm sure, on the podcast. We all work part-time at Tap the Potential, and we do not work on the weekends. We save that space to honor our time for ourselves, to rest and to do the things that are really important. And that was a struggle for me to learn, because for so many years, I just went 7 days a week and just never stopped. And I just thank you for teaching me that value of doing other things. And, this year I got back to painting and I created a craft room. We bought a she shed for me to do self-care in, and it has made a massive difference in my emotional and physical life. And I know the way that I show up with our team.
Yeah, that's huge. So it's not just that you're taking a span of vacation time and being off. It's also that awareness of having boundaries between work and personal life, and the business and personal life. So I know, you taking weekends off was a huge shift to just completely unplug and decide I'm not working on the weekends. And that created space for creativity to start to happen. And I believe, and I know that when we have that time for creativity in our lives, how it influences how we show up at work. And one of the reasons that we are intentional about being part-time at Tap the Potential is I want everyone on our team to have lives away from work and things that you enjoy doing that give you energy and fill you back up. And so as you were talking, I was also reminded one of the other changes is you took back your morning time, your early morning time, which is for you, one of the things I've noticed, that's your most creative time. And so I used to get these boxers from Melissa, because I'm also up very early and she knew that. I would get boxers from her at 4 or 5 in the morning because her wheels were turning. That is not happening anymore. And I think that's a good thing, because she's focused her creative energy in a different direction. And that allows her to show up at her best. And, when we have these A players on our teams, A players are overachievers by nature because they love what they do and they're intrinsically motivated. So they just go, go, go. Melissa, that's A player energy that you were exhibiting. And we as leaders have to support our team in kind of harnessing that energy and pulling it back in and not exploiting it. And that's what corporate culture does to A players, is they exploit that A player intrinsic motivation. And one of the things that can really make us attractive as small businesses and employers of choice is supporting our A players and having that healthy work-life balance. And so, Melissa, I really appreciate what you're sharing about that. Darren, I want to ask you, because you've taken vacation this year too, what are some of your ahas and insights from you taking vacation?
Well, I'm always have been very pro taking vacation. So I really getting away and spending time with the family. And so I love the 4-week vacation mindset and putting vacation as a priority. In our world, in the American society as a whole, we don't put vacation as a priority. And one of the things I've been thinking about is, for example, Mike Michalowicz talks about Parkinson's law and applying that to profit first, and how we will use what's available. And that's true with our time as well. We will use it up. Like, so if we sit there and go, oh, I still have more time to work on this project or work on that project, we will use all of it up instead of setting aside time so we can recharge. And so that's, I love that about the 4-week vacation mindset, is that it realizes and points to the fact that we need to allow ourselves to have time to recharge, have time to focus on something besides the daily grind, and spend time with family, spend time alone, and be able to come back and be even more productive after having taken time for ourselves. And so I've been thinking about those types of things and just how important that is. And I'm thankful for the space that my experience at Tap the Potential allows me to reflect and look at those types of things in my life, and how I can, one, be more productive, but at the same time find those spaces where I can free up time and recharge myself on a regular basis.
Yeah. One of the things that I'm very aware of in our team, particularly in the last 2, maybe 3 years, we've had a lot of curveballs thrown at us individually in our personal lives, but also just collectively as a team dealing with the pandemic and those sorts of things. And what really has stood out over the last year and a half or so is how valuable the redundancy that we've started to create on the team has been, because each of us sitting here has had to be away from the business for extended periods of time to take care of ourselves being ill or family members going through health situations. And we've been able to do that because we have systems in place and everybody is able to pick up and keep things going with these systems in place. So when you're building towards a 4-week vacation, I think a lot of times people think, oh yes, I'm going to go sip margaritas on the beach. And time again, what I've seen actually happen is that people come to value the 4-week vacation simply because it creates flexibility. All of a sudden, we all know if we had to, we could take care of things in our personal lives if that need was there. And that takes huge pressure off of us individually and as a team to make that happen. I will be honest that for those who are on the team when someone else is out, it does create some stress. And at the same time, we learn from that because we look at, okay, what were the stress points and what can we do in the future to alleviate some of that? So how can we strengthen systems, or how can we add even more redundancy? And so every time a team member is out, there's learning opportunities for how can we make things better next time around? So Melissa and Darren, do you want to say anything about just the ability to be out for personal reasons?
So a few years ago, I had a serious medical issue when I worked with corporate, and that was a challenging time. I almost died, and corporate expected me to come back immediately when I left the hospital. Fast forward to this year, August, I lost my father. He was in hospice with me at my home. Every single person on the Tap the Potential team said, we've got your back. We've got you covered. You focus on what you need to focus on your family. And that built so much loyalty and respect for me. And knowing that my team has my back is so important. And we do that. We walk our talk.
Darren, how about for you?
Well, a year ago in August, again, I don't know why it's hit floors, but it does. My family was hit pretty hard with COVID. We had 8 members of our family here in Casper, all sick with COVID. We had 9 members of our family sick with COVID in Colorado, and very stressful time because we're worried about them. They're worried about us. And, some of the hardest things associated with it is my oldest daughter was dealing with a high-risk pregnancy at the time, and she was the sickest of us with COVID, and to the point that she spent several days down in Denver in the ICU on a CPAP that was providing her oxygen because her oxygen levels would not maintain. And so we were worried about her and everything going on with her and the pregnancy down in Denver. I took my wife to the emergency room at least one time because she had pneumonia associated with it. So did my daughter, who was in the hospital. High stress situation. and, the team, and I fully realize at that point in time, would have been very stressful for the team to take care of some of the stuff that I would normally take care of. But I was able to fully concentrate on what was going on with my family for 3 weeks during that time. And that meant so much to me and my family. And we were able to get through that. And and I think things could have been a lot different if I would have had to focus so much more on what was going on at work during that time. And so that was a great blessing. And I just think realizing that people have a life outside of work is an important thing to hold. I love one of our core beliefs, one of our immutable laws here, which is work supports life, not the other way around, because that rings true in so many ways in our lives. And it's so easy for most of us to forget that. Very easy for an entrepreneur to forget that, because they're like, I got to get this done. I got to get this done. I got to get this done. And I'm like, well, what's going on in your personal life? Have you given yourself time to focus on the needs of your family and all this different stuff that you have going on as you're grinding it out in your business, right? And so I just love that we are really walking our talk, as Melissa said, and showing that work supports life, not the other way around. And we're creating the ability for more people to gain that mindset, and has great benefit for everybody, and especially entrepreneurs.
Yeah. Darren, as you were sharing that, I was thinking about how in a lot of situations, A players would just push through and work. Like you could have easily said, you know what, I'm sick. Because I remember being on the phone with you during that time, and like your voice was it was just clear you were really struggling. And you could have said, I'm going to push through. I can do some calls. And if the leader allows that to happen, your A players, they will push through and they will burn out. And so you may not feel the effect of it right away in the company, but you will risk losing them over time, because their commitment to what they're doing is just naturally going to erode every single time they're having to choose between a very important role, showing up and being, you're the father, the grandfather in the family. You have these important roles in your life, and you were able to honor the important roles. You too, Melissa, in the caregiving role that you had with your father, you were able to honor that role. The irony, even as we're recording this, I'm away from home right now, coming back tomorrow, but I've been able to be out on vacation, going to a conference, and now the last 2 weeks being with my mother as she's had a medical procedure, and being able to be there. And these things, when we're able to honor our important roles in our lives, they help us to show up at our best. When we can't be fully in those important roles because we're pulled into business issues, that erodes our passion for what we do over time.
It does. And there's so much value in team members taking an extended vacation, because that's when you see the gaps in the systems. And other team members innovate and collaborate with the team, and we look for ways that we might better serve one another, or other team members that can take things off of our plate, which is exactly what I just experienced. And when the business owner is out of the business, it gives the team members an opportunity to step up and shine in a really big way.
Yes. And I have to say, Darren and Melissa don't even know this yet, but I've been in the last few days, as my mother's gotten into a stable place and I'm kind of getting back into the business. I've been poking around at things, and I see some amazing things that have happened where people are stepping up and they're shining. And I haven't been there. And it's just like, wow, look at that. People really want to grow, and they keep growing. And especially when we get out of the way, we get out of the way in a way that there's structure in place to keep things going, so that it's still that safe, supported environment, even though the business owner is not there, the other team members. And this holds for every role in the business, not just the business owner. So when you have team members who are learning and coming up and developing, when the person who is supervising them steps out for an extended period of time, those team members get to step up and shine in new ways and show like, here's what I'm capable of. Look at me go. And we have to be very careful as the leaders not to come back in and say, okay, I'm back now. I'm going to take this from you because that undermines the progress. It undermines the growth.
Yeah, I just was going to say, I know for me, I think the 4-week vacation or any vacation where the business owner takes some time away and it's the team is taking over some new things or even some things that they just don't normally do, it can be very motivating to the team too. Because I know, like for me, like, okay, Sabrina's out for 2 weeks or Sabrina's out for 3 weeks. What can I do to maximize sales for the company? Because I want to have her come back and be like, oh, wow, Darren sold, this great amount. And how wonderful that is. The company's thriving because we've got all this activity going on. And I've been gone for 3 weeks or 4 weeks, so there's a motivation factor that I don't think gets touched on all the time. Is your team wants it to be a good experience for the business owner and for them and want to really move into that new situation and make it the best thing possible. And so
yes.
Motivation's a big factor there that I don't think we always talk about.
No. And, the 4-week vacation has been such a learning journey for all of us, because when I took my first 4-week vacation, I was just focused on, can the business function without me? Like, kind of keeping everything afloat. And what I've come to realize is the 4-week vacation is not a once and done event. Like, it's not an achievement. You've done it and now you're done with it and you don't do it anymore. We have to continually vacation test our businesses because Tap the Potential is very different. The whole structure and the dynamics is very different this year than it was this time last year. And every time one of us is out, we learn things about what we need to strengthen or what has been strengthened. And so I would encourage everyone to start thinking about, how do we decrease risk in the business by taking more time off? Because that's essentially what we're talking about here, is the irony that we make our businesses stronger and we make ourselves stronger when we take that time off. And so as you're listening, I want to give you an on-ramp to, like, how do you even start working towards building up to a 4-week vacation? And we have the Better Business, Better Life 4-week vacation Jumpstart coming up in just a week or so. And the Jumpstart is an opportunity. It's a free event. It's a week long. You get to come together with us, the Tap the Potential team. I am teaching you the Tap the Potential solution and the key strategy that you need in your business to start working towards taking more time away from your business and making your business stronger as you take time away and making it more profitable as you take time away. So Darren and Melissa, I want to invite you to just kind of share what goes on in the Jumpstart and some of the incredible things that have happened through the Jumpstarts.
The Jumpstart is just one of my favorite things that we do at Tap the Potential. It's so phenomenal to serve entrepreneurs who are coming from different industries. And, that simulates what we do with our small groups, which is bring entrepreneurs, different industries, different situations, but there's so many commonalities that we share. And that's an opportunity to learn from one another and get other people's feedback and opinions. And in the Jumpstart, we have seen so much change just in that week of training and the access to you, Dr. Sabrina, because it is live coaching. When you come to the Jumpstart, you get Dr. Sabrina and Darren's there and I'm there and many of the members on our Tap the Potential team. And it's just a great time to learn about the Tap the Potential solution and how we can implement it. And in just the Jumpstart alone, we get so much feedback on how businesses are seeing more profitability, taking more time off, business owners that have stopped working weekends, and we just love to celebrate those wins.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as we've designed the Jumpstart, one of the things that I wanted to be very intentional about is our small steps forward, taken in a consistent direction, lead to big change over time. So every day in the Jumpstart, I teach something, you have a small move forward action step that takes maybe 30 minutes to do at the most, but usually it's done, I think, in 10 or 15 minutes if we're honest with ourselves with what people are doing. And it leads to huge aha moments in the business and ways that things can be shifted, current resources can be shifted and reallocated, and things that are taking a lot of time from the business owner and other team members can be taken off the plate. So business owners come away with a clear, like, oh, I can say no to these things. Like these things that drive me crazy, I don't have to tolerate. And I have my plan for how I don't have to tolerate it anymore. And it'll actually make the business better and more profitable. And so that, in terms of a key takeaway that you're going to get from the Jumpstart, that is your big takeaway, is you're going to see things that are right under your nose right now that you can change very easily in the business. And it'll actually free up your time and make the business more profitable, which that's our big promise through our Better Business, Better Life program and the Tap the Potential solution. That when you implement the Tap the Potential solution, it's the guaranteed path to designing a business that's sustainably profitable, that gives you more time for what matters most and more money in your bank account than ever. And you get to experience that firsthand in the Jumpstart. So this is not an event that you come and you learn stuff, but if you don't implement it, you don't get value. You implement as part of the Jumpstart. And one of the things that we do at Tap the Potential is we surround you with support to support you in implementing and hold you accountable, because that's the big thing with us business owners is no one's checking in on us and saying, hey, did you get that thing done? Well, our success team, and I'm going to let Darren talk a little bit about our success team, but our success team comes together around our Jumpstart participants, and like they're there and like they're checking in individually. You have your own success concierge who checks in with you and says, hey, how are things going? What support do you need? What questions do you have? What do you need Dr. Sabrina to touch on tomorrow in the Jumpstart? Because we customize, every Jumpstart is just a little different, because we customize it based on who's participating and the needs they're telling their success concierge about. So Darren, I want to give you a chance to talk a little bit about that side of things.
You know, one of the things I love is aha moments. I get to see a lot of those happen in the Better Business, Better Life program for our clients. And the Jumpstart is the leading in to the Better Business, Better Life program, in my opinion. And we really do have that high accountability throughout all of our programs. And I think there's two things that help will have more aha moments. One is the accountability, and that's why that's so very important in our program. And the other thing is permission, giving ourselves permission. And that's one of the things I loved at ProfitCon when you did your presentation at ProfitCon, Dr. Sabrina, is you were handing out permission slips to the participants, right? And people really liked that. And I thought it was interesting how important it became for someone to get a permission slip from you to work a 25-hour week, you know, or to take a 4-week vacation. You know, we all want someone to give us the permission to do something that's in our best interest, right? And so those are two things that I think are so important, that are key parts of our programs. And we start that off in the Jumpstart. When you join the Jumpstart, you're going to have a success team concierge walking through with the whole process with you, holding you accountable, seeing what you need help with to help you get the most out of the Jumpstart. And so, you know, there's aha moments to be had in the Jumpstart that will lead you to some great things in your business. And so it's just a highly valuable, great resource. So, yeah.
And, you know, as you talked about the permission slips, one of the ones that I gave out that touched me so much is I at ProfitCon had a conversation with a woman in the restroom while we were washing hands. And she was saying that she wanted to read a novel that she used to love to read, but she hadn't read in years. And she came by the table after my presentation, and I got to give her a permission slip to go read a novel. And it's those simple things. That's these small steps forward, is when we make these small adjustments in our business, we have the ability to do these things that we enjoy and to reconnect with things that maybe we haven't done in years because the business has taken over our lives, right? And we get to reconnect with what we enjoy the most. And it's that coming back to life for us as business owners that we start to see in the Jumpstart. Because I think one of the hardest things about being a business owner is that feeling of I'm alone. No one understands what I'm going through. And when you come into the Jumpstart, all of a sudden you're surrounded by people who totally get it. You're the Tap the Potential team, we all get it. And you're also there with other business owners who totally get what you're going through. And that feeling of, I'm not crazy. I'm not screwing things up in the business. This is what's going on in my business happens in all kinds of businesses. It's not just me, because I think we all carry that, like, it must be something wrong with me that I'm keep screwing up the business in some way. And you realize, oh no, this is a natural place given where the business is in that stage of development. And there's a clear path out of this that's a guaranteed path, and others are doing it. It's working. And all of a sudden that feeling of, oh my gosh, there's hope. Like, I really can have a life and my business can be profitable. And then I can have these great team members. And you just start to see, like, oh, and the weight coming off of people's shoulders as that realization is sinking in. That's one of the most fulfilling parts for me in the Jumpstart, is seeing that happen. So if you're listening to this and you're thinking, wow, I want to be a part of that Jumpstart, just head on over right now. Don't delay. Go over to tapthepotential.com/Jumpstart. Get signed up. You will get a workbook from us. You will be connected with a member of our success team who will be reaching out to you. Don't ignore them. I know you're busy. Respond to them, because they want to just help you and they want to support you and make sure you get the most out of it. Block the times on your calendar. And if you look at your calendar and you're like, oh, I have a conflict, the Jumpstart is recorded. So your success concierge will get you the recordings. That's why it's important that you connect with your success concierge. They'll get you the recordings and they'll help you catch up. But the best thing that you can do is to block the time and plan to be there live as much as possible, because there's a lot of Q&A, a lot of questions of, well, how do I apply this in my business, Dr. Sabrina? And one of the things that happens for me as when I get into my strategic thinking mode in the Jumpstart is when you're talking to me about your business, I will be able to quickly identify, like, you could shift this and you could shift that and do that. These simple things. And I can do that customizing it for each business when you're live on the call. So a lot of your thinking that you're trying to figure out in your head about, how do I do all this? How do I make it work in my business? I can just do that for you right there on the call for you. So that's the benefit of being there live. So again, go over to tapthepotential.com/Jumpstart and get registered.
Thank you for spending time with us today. Join our conversation in the Entrepreneurs Take Your Life Back Facebook community at tapthepotential.com/group. Share your aha moments from today's episode, ask me questions, and join in on the fun with your fellow entrepreneurs on the journey to designing sustainably profitable businesses that give you more time for what matters most and more money in your bank account than ever. And finally, share today's episode with a friend if you know a friend who would enjoy it. This is real life business. Keep your chin up, keep moving forward. You got this. If you've gotten value from today's show, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if you are a repeat listener of the podcast, know that we greatly appreciate you at Tap the Potential. And to that end, I have a request. Please consider leaving us a review on whatever platform you're listening on. Our reviews help other entrepreneurs like you to find us. Be a part of our movement to help entrepreneurs take your life back from your business.